I thought for my first real video, I would do kind of like a room tour. I'll show you what I have, uh, what this monstrosity looks like. This room is actually extremely tiny. You might even be able to tell from the video. It's very, very small. It is packed full of shit. So much stuff. And like I said in my other video, I've been seriously collecting for about 3 years. And it's been not only extremely expensive and time consuming, but I am full to the brim on stuff. And I just keep getting more, and I don't know where the hell I'm going to put it, but I guess I'll figure it out. This here is probably a good place to start, because it's kind of the focal point in my room. At least it's where my eyes always go when I come in. So we're actually going to start here. We'll start with Evil Dead. Because, I mean, it's Evil Dead. And if, as a horror fan, you don't like Evil Dead, I really think that you need to reevaluate your life choices. Because, classic. I mean, I cut my teeth on it. So we're actually going to start here. I collect VHS tapes. As you can see, I do have some Funko Pops down there. I really only collect the horror ones, the Stranger Things ones, and the Harry Potter ones. I do have some mystery minis and some reactions, but I don't particularly like to give Funko my money too often. I did have to have the entire set of the Ash vs. Evil Dead, though, because, I mean, it's Ash vs. Evil Dead, and the show is fantastic. Got my little tapes here. This here was handmade for me as a guest book for my Halloween party last year by my very talented and very generous friend Adam, who also made another piece in my room that I'll get to eventually. But he does great work. Look at that. That's just too cool. I mean, I'm blessed with very talented and very generous people in my life, and they like to gift me things. I don't know why, but I'll take it. So, some more mystery minis down here. This is part of my problem with Funko, is these damn mystery minis, and I'm sure I'll get to that rant eventually. As you can see, I've got some Army of Darkness comics hanging up back there. Got quite a few of them. Oh, yeah, by the way, NECA. I am a huge NECA fan. I don't have a whole lot yet, but I have a few, but they just look really great, and most of the time they're fairly inexpensive, and it makes them really easy to collect, and they look really good sitting up there. So, the Demon Spawn. I have my NECA Captain Spaulding, which, I mean, I searched high and low for that. I went crazy for months trying to find it at a reasonable price because I didn't want to pay what they wanted for it online. If you're from Ohio, you might be familiar with a place called Trader's World. If you're not from Ohio and you're not familiar with it, it is 2 miles of flea markets that sells absolutely everything. And the horror stuff that is sold there is insane. It's my favorite place to go for my collectibles. But I've actually found Captain Spaulding there out of the box, but he was complete and fairly cheap, so I was really excited. Because middle fingers up there, look at him. Fried chicken and gasoline. I love The Shining. It's one of my absolute favorite movies. The Grady twins and Jack Torrance there, of course. Got my David from The Lost Boys. My tapes back there. Sean! Got some red on you. There's my box there. This is one of my favorite pieces in my room. This is... The fun of being a collector is finding shit like this. I found this at Horror Hound this past year in March. And what's cool about it is that upon talking to the woman who makes them, and this is very heavy and very sharp, she is actually in contact with the studio that makes them for the Phantasm movies. And so she can make them as accurate as possible. Oh, knocking stuff over. Sorry, Will Graham. This is actually very sharp, very heavy. It's so cool. And I mean, seriously, what kind of weirdo collects that kind of stuff? This girl does. My little back scratcher. I have my another NECA. This is the Carrie from the remake. A lot of people are polarized if they like that movie. If they don't, most people prefer the original. I do prefer the original, but I actually really like the remake. So shoot me, hang me, whatever. Let's discuss it down below. If you hate it, tell me why. If you love it, tell me why. Got the Blair Witch, Leprechaun, more Funko Pops. I'm actually, honestly, I'm terrified of clowns, especially Pennywise. But I have him anyways because I don't know. He creeps me out. But I've got Norman Bates there, Billy the Puppet, Eric Draven, Movie Maniacs. I only have 2 of those. I really need to start collecting those, but I like the Movie Maniacs a lot. And I think actually this was my first one that I got, maybe. Might have been the other one that I have, but I was pretty excited. Look at the detail on that. I love the Movie Maniacs. And I love Psycho. So Creepshow. These here, I tend to, since I'm an out-of-the-box collector, and I tend to tear up the packages sometimes and hang the logos. So that's pretty cool. I got this at Trader's World a couple years ago. It's falling apart. But it's just one of those cool things, the random things that you find that just kind of belong. And I think actually it was one of the first horror things in this room, because that was about 6-7 years ago. So I have my Bruce reaction, my Jaws collection, my little Bruce, 2 of them, because again, fuck you Funko and your 1 in 6s. Seriously, I have like 6 Bruces and 6 Elviras, and it's ridiculous. I spent way too much money on that crap. Don't even get me started. Another Funko Pop of Chucky, the little Mopies I got at a Box of Dread. I don't actually subscribe to Box of Dread anymore because the quality of their stuff went way downhill, and I can't justify spending my money on that. I miss when they used to give out cool shit. Camp Crystal Lake, Pennant. Got my tapes again back there. Freddy sniffing his own fingers, which is kind of weird. But, you know, he's Freddy, so we just don't question the weird shit he does. Dorbs. I'm actually going to get rid of some of the Dorbs. I don't think I'm keeping those anymore. I have all of the horror ones. Sorry about the dust on my shelves, guys. I am a terrible housekeeper. But I don't think I'm keeping the Dorbs. I know everybody hates Dorbs, but if you like them and you don't have the horror ones, let me know. Maybe we can work something out. I just don't want them anymore. I don't have room for them, and they look kind of silly, I think. So, okay, so there is the box for my Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors NECA. These little guys up there. By the way, the blue stuff that's all over that is like this little adhesive that I use to keep everything up so it doesn't fall and break. It's everywhere. There's that. Another Funko Pop. My NECA Freddy. Let's start from here because the detail on this sucker is incredible. I love NECA figures. The detail on them is just awesome. Look at that. Let's see if I can focus. Look at that. That just looks so cool. Back here is a signed print. Derek Meir signed it for Friday the 13th, the remake from 2009. Actually got that in Box of Dread before they stopped giving cool stuff. It was one of the last cool things I got, I think, actually. So there's also another NECA. I bought him loose. He didn't come with any accessories, so I improvised and gave him Freddy's head. So he's kind of my Freddy versus Jason. And I get that print back there that I got from Box of Dread before they stopped giving out cool stuff. Again, more Dorbs. More mystery minis. These are from a box that was the Reanimator box, I think, which was one of my favorite boxes of Boxes of Dread. And it was one of the reasons I stuck with it so long. And then they stopped doing that kind of stuff. And my Annabelle doll. I absolutely love her. That is another movie that I think audiences are completely polarized on. Either you love it or you hate it. I happen to love it. The 3 parts in the movie that were actually legitimately scary, there was, I think, 3, were scary, and I think they made the whole movie worth it. And I thought the movie was interesting. And I haven't, I know there's a new one. I don't know. I'll probably watch it. I don't know if I'll love it, but I did love Annabelle, and I love The Conjuring in general. So isn't she beautiful? She just looks so cool sitting up there. My Halloween VHS tapes. Of course, my poster back there, Friday the 13th. My little Michael Myers Funko Pop. My Blade bobblehead I got from Horror Hound that I've mentioned in March. Dead. Oh, that might have been the first Movie Maniacs that I got. Now, I did say I was an out-of-the-box collector, but he's never going to come out of the box. I bought him for super cheap from a friend, found out he's been in the package. I mean, the guy bought him when he first came out in like the early 2000s and never took him out. And then when I looked him up to see how much he was worth, not like I'm ever going to sell him, but I was curious, he's actually worth way more than I paid for him. So he's one of the few things I have that will never come out of the box. Moving on up, this is kind of sort of like my Universal Monster shelf or Universal type monsters. You know, vampires, whatever. Frankenstein, Wolfman. Let me get up here and just get a little bit better view. This is my styrofoam Frankenstein. Eventually he's going to get painted and glazed and he's going to look super cool. Sorry, my finger was in the way. Some little random things here. There is a Dracula coloring book back there. Those prints on the wall came from Horror Hound. She had some amazing work there. I don't believe those are signed. I know some of my prints are signed. I don't believe these are, but they're just beautiful. Again, I collect VHS tapes, so you'll see a lot of those. More stuff. Let me move over here. And just little random Universal Monsters things. I got Swamp Thing. I realize he's not a Universal Monster, but he kind of belonged up there. So, got more Alfred Hitchcock. I do love me some Hitchcock. I mentioned Psycho earlier. I absolutely love Hitchcock, like with a passion. So these cards here I got at Trader's World. That is the complete set of the Tales from the Crypt cards. I put them all in order because I'm strange like that. I won't take them out now, but sometime I might take them out. Those are really cool. And I found them at Trader's World for like a steal. I was excited. Back wall back there we have my Dracula print, some random Universal Monster cards, and my lip lights up there. I'm trying to keep these videos at about 15 minutes, so I'll do the back of the door and then I'll move on. But I've got my Shining poster. Eat, Drink, and Be Scary. This can be moved. And again, I don't subscribe to Box of Dread anymore, but back when they were giving out cool stuff, like cool posters like that, I was happy to have it. I've got quite a few things like that, but they don't give out stuff like that really that much anymore from what I saw, and I just couldn't justify spending $20 on that box. Insidious 3, Werewolf on Wheels. This came out of Box of Dread, the Miskatonic University Herbert West diploma from Reanimator. Absolutely loved that box. That Reanimator box was badass. I loved it. I like to frame some of my magazines, the ones like I've never seen before. This one is the monsters from the Vault with Frankenstein. I was going to show you down here, and I didn't before I end this video. This is, of course, the Overlook Hotel keychain. I thought was pretty cool. I got that print. I know it's kind of cartoonish and strange, but I found it at a shop in my town, and I had to have it. I mean, it's just different. I like stuff like that. This is a print that came from Trader's World. There's a guy there that does these. He did a really good job. I have another one of Captain Spaulding that's a little bit better quality. Kind of more photo quality than this one, but it's pretty cool. I have my guys hanging there. Monsterland. I have the Fat Clown. This is signed by the artist. I got this at Horror Hound when I went in March. The Fat Clown from Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and it is signed. The detail on that's incredible, and it's textured, which is pretty cool. But I had to have it. That's one of, as much as I hate clowns, that's one of my favorite movies. And I've got Pumpkinhead there. And then a bunch of Anita Blake comics. And that is the first video in the first part of my room. That is just a taste of what's in here. If you see anything that's of interest to you, you have any of the stuff, you don't have any of the stuff, comment down below. Let me know. We'll talk about it. We'll discuss it. And I will be back with the next one.